She eats more than a sumo wrestler. Her muscles are 8 times denser than yours. She can bend a sword like a ribbon, and she cries at literally everything. And here's the part that gets me. Out of all 9 Hashira, the strongest demon slayers alive, she is the one whose entire fighting style is built on being in love. Not rage, not revenge, not duty, love. Mitsuri Kanroji is one of the most misunderstood characters in Demon Slayer, and today we're going through 15 things about her that most fans genuinely do not know. Her hair, her sword, her uniform, the reason she joined the Corps in the first place, which is so much sadder than people realize. Let's get into it. Quick foundation before the deep cuts because context makes the trivia hit harder. Mitsuri Kanroji is the Love Hashira, the Koi Bashira of the Demon Slayer Corps. She's 19 years old. Her birthday is June 1st. She stands around 167 centimeters, which is genuinely tall for a woman in Taisho-era Japan. And that height matters later. Trust me, she's the eldest of a big family with several younger siblings. And she is, by a wide margin, the friendliest person in that entire organization. She compliments people constantly. She gets emotional over food. She adopts strays, human and otherwise. And that's exactly why people underestimate her, because inside the world of Demon Slayer, the Hashira are the ceiling. There are only 9 at any given time. To hold that rank, you either have to kill 12 demons of a certain caliber or take down one of the 12 Kazuki directly. Mitsuri is standing in that room on merit. Everybody remembers she's sweet. Fewer people remember she's terrifying. Fact number 1, and it's the one that surprises new fans the most. Her hair was not always pink and green. Mitsuri was born with dark hair. The two-tone gradient she's famous for came from her diet, specifically from sakura mochi, the pink rice cake wrapped in a pickled cherry leaf. The story goes that she ate them obsessively, a huge quantity every single day, for 8 straight months. And the pigment didn't just stain her hair temporarily. It permanently changed the color, pink at the roots, fading to green at the tips, exactly like the mochi and its leaf. Now, is that biologically real? Absolutely not. But it's a beautiful piece of character writing because that hair became the thing that made her feel like a freak. And here's the detail that hurts. For a while, she dyed it black. She tried to look normal. She tried to shrink herself down into something a Taisho-era family would consider marriageable. She stopped. And the fact that she walks around with that hair now proudly is a quiet act of defiance that the show never draws attention to. Fact number 2, Mitsuri has a rare physical condition. Her muscle composition is fundamentally different from a normal human's. Her muscles are described as being roughly 8 times denser than an average person's, 8 times, which means that slim frame you're looking at is not a slim frame at all, it's a compressed one. She is carrying superhuman strength in a body that visually reads as delicate, and that contrast is the entire joke of her character design. There's a knock-on effect too. To fuel muscle tissue that dense, she has to eat an enormous amount, reportedly around 3 times what a professional sumo wrestler puts away. So when the anime shows her demolishing plate after plate, it's not a gag about a girl who likes snacks. It's biology. She physically cannot maintain her body on a normal diet. Combine that with her flexibility. She's extraordinarily supple, almost boneless in the way she moves. And you get a fighter who can generate massive force through a weapon that would snap in anyone else's hands. Which brings us to the sword. Fact number 3, Mitsuri's Nichiren blade is arguably the strangest weapon in the series. It's a katana in name only. The steel is hammered so thin and so flexible that it behaves like a ribbon or a whip. It coils. It snakes around corners. It hits from angles a straight blade physically cannot reach. And this is the important part. She is the only person who can use it. Not the only person who chooses to, the only person who can. It takes her specific combination of raw strength and unnatural flexibility to control something that soft without slicing her own arm off. Hand that weapon to any other Hashira, and it's useless, possibly lethal to the user. Bespoke weapons are rare in this world. The swordsmiths do not enjoy making them. The fact that they built her one tells you how highly the Corps rates her. Fact number 4, and this one's a nice piece of trivia. Love breathing is not an original style in the way most people assume. It's a derivative, a branch style descended from flame breathing. Mitsuri trained under the Flame Hashira lineage. She was, at one point, a Suguko, a designated successor being taught by Kyojuro Rengoku's father, Shinjuro, but flame breathing didn't fit her. The forms were built for a different kind of body and a different kind of temperament, and she couldn't make them work the way they were designed to work. So instead of forcing it, she did something only a handful of characters in this entire series have ever done. She took the foundation and built her own style on top of it. That's what love breathing is. Flame's structure, rebuilt around her flexibility, her strength, and her whip blade. Fast, looping, unpredictable attacks with names like Shivers of First Love and Swaying Love, Wild Claw. Think about what that actually means. She was a student who couldn't keep up, who invented an entirely new martial art rather than quit, and who then rose to the same rank as the man who taught her. That is not a supporting character arc. That's a protagonist's resume. Now here's fact number 6, and this is the one that recontextualizes her entire personality. Mitsuri did not join the Demon Slayer Corps for revenge. She has no dead family motivating her. No demon ruined her childhood. She joined to find a husband. Specifically, she wanted to find a man stronger than her. Because in Taisho-era Japan, a girl who could outlift, out-eat, and out-fight every man in the room was considered unmarriageable. She went through the formal matchmaking process. She sat in that room, and when her prospective husband learned what she actually was, it fell apart. The message she absorbed was that she was too much, so she looked at the one place on Earth where being monstrously strong might be an asset instead of a defect, and she signed up. And then something happened that she didn't expect. She got there, and people liked her, not despite the strength. Because of it, she found a home in an organization full of other people who don't fit anywhere else. That's why her cheerfulness reads differently once you know it. She isn't naive. She spent her whole adolescence being told she was wrong, and she chose to stay warm anyway. Fact number 7, because it comes up constantly in the comments. Her uniform is a heavily modified version of the standard Corps outfit, shorter and made from a noticeably thinner fabric than everyone else's. In universe, the material is unusually lightweight and not especially durable, which is a real trade-off. The practical logic is flexibility. Her entire fighting style depends on twisting, coiling, and extending in ways that standard issue clothing would fight against. She trades protection for range of motion. It's also, let's be honest, one of the most debated design choices in the series. Whatever your take on it, the in-story reasoning is at least internally consistent with how she fights. Fact number 8, and this is my favorite, because Koyoharu Gotoji does this constantly, and almost nobody notices. Her name is a pun. The Mitsu in Mitsuri is written with the character for honey or nectar, and her family name, Kanroji, contains Kanro, sweet dew, heavenly nectar. So the girl whose defining trait is an unstoppable sweet tooth, whose hair was dyed by cherry blossom rice cakes, is literally named Honey twice over. Her name, her diet, her hair color, and her breathing style all point at the same idea. Sweetness as a source of power rather than a weakness. Heads up, mild spoilers from here. Skip ahead if you're anime only. Fact number 9. Mitsuri and Obanai Iguro, the Serpent Hashira, are one of the most quietly devastating relationships in the series. On the surface, they could not be more different. She's radiant and open. He's guarded, bandaged, sharp-tongued, carrying a past he refuses to talk about. And he's the one person who never once treated her as strange. He accepted the hair, the appetite, the strength, all of it, without commentary. Neither of them ever manages to say it plainly. It's in glances, in small kindnesses, in the way he positions himself relative to her in a fight. And in the final arc, both of them are pushed to their absolute limit, including Mitsuri awakening a Demon Slayer mark, that dark pattern that appears on the strongest Slayers and unlocks abilities beyond human range at a horrifying cost. I won't spell out the ending here, but Gotoge does give them something in the epilogue, and if you've read it, you know exactly which panel I mean. A few production facts to close out. 10. In the Japanese dub, she's voiced by Kana Hanazawa, one of the most recognizable voice actors in the industry. And she nails the hardest part of the role, which is making Mitsuri sound genuinely sweet, without ever sounding fake. 11. In English, she's performed by Kira Buckland, who threads the same needle in a completely different language. 12. Mitsuri consistently ranks near the top of official Demon Slayer character popularity polls, competing directly with the main cast. Not bad for someone who doesn't appear until well into the story. 13. Her favorite food is, predictably, Sakura Mochi, the exact thing that changed her hair. 14. Her love-breathing forms are all named around romance. First love, heartache, affection, which makes her one of the only fighters in the series whose attack names are emotionally vulnerable rather than intimidating. And 15. The flexibility that lets her wield that ribbon blade isn't a power-up. It's just her body. She was born able to do this. She simply had nowhere to point it until the Corps gave her a reason. That's what I keep coming back to with Mitsuri. Everything the world told her was wrong with her. Too strong, too hungry, too strange, too much. It turned out to be the exact reason she could do something almost nobody else on the planet could do. She's not a joke character with a scary side. She's a genuinely powerful fighter whose defining trait happens to be kindness. And the story never once treats those two things as a contradiction. If I missed a fact you love, drop it in the comments. I read them, and there's a good chance it ends up in a follow-up video. Subscribe if you want more Demon Slayer deep dives, and I'll see you in the next one.